Hi everyone and welcome back to the Erin Chronicle. I am so happy to see you guys back and welcome if you are new. Please be sure to like and subscribe down below and hit the little notification bell so that you can keep up with all the new videos coming your way. I am so excited to get to talk to you guys today about the Dior Fall Haute Couture show. So let's get right into it. So let's discuss what is different about this particular fashion show. So they decided to show this particular collection with a short film. Now the creative director for this particular collection was Maria Grazia. And the director of this particular film was Matteo Garrone. Now, I do apologize if I mispronounce things. We are working on this together. So I have my notes, I have my tea, and I have my computer, and I am ready to look at this show with you guys. But let's first go into a little bit of the background story. So this particular collection had 37 pieces. It was filmed in the Garden of Ninfa, which is right outside of Rome, Italy. If this particular garden interests you, you can find out more by watching Monty Don's Italian Gardens on Netflix. Now, what's interesting about this particular garden is it's actually set in the medieval town of Ninfa, hence the name. I think it's one of the most beautiful, if not the most beautiful garden in the world. And it's not just me who says that. If you Google it, people are asking, is it the most beautiful in the world? And I tend to agree. But if it interests you, like I said, it's on Netflix. Now, this particular format of the short film is a kind of a once time. They've already shown their cruise collection at the time of us posting this video. They posted their 2021 cruise collection, and they did do that in front of a limited audience. So I'm actually excited to really get into seeing this film because it is something different than you would see from the normal. Now, let's discuss some of the inspiration behind this particular collection. First of all, the design and the photography of the particular dresses is based on surrealism. So I got into it and I was like, I've heard the term surrealism, but what is surrealism? It was inspired by the movement called Dada, which was started in Zurich, Switzerland, and it was after World War II in reaction to the horrors that were caused by that particular war. They were often satirical and nonsensical in nature. The quote is, the Surrealist movement included art, poetry, performances. It embodied a philosophical and artistic movement that explored the working of the mind, championing the irrational, the poetic, and the revolutionary. The movement really rejected the rational vision of life that was so prevalent in art up to that point. It accepted the unconscious and dreams. Its artists and poets found beauty in the uncanny and unexpected, the disregarded, and the unconventional. The term surrealist was actually coined in 1903 by French avant-garde poet Guillaume Apollinaire. Again, I apologize for my horrible pronunciation. And it's playing called Drama Surrealiste. However, the philosophy of the movement was actually created in 1924 in what is called the Surrealist Manifesto, and it was written by André Breton, and he was actually the gatekeeper or the pope of the Surrealist movement. He wrote, "Pure psychic automatism, by which one proposes to express either verbally in writing or by any other nature the real functioning of thought, dictation of thought, in the absence of control exercised by reason outside of the aesthetic and moral preoccupation. Now, if you would like to see where I got these sources from and see these direct quotes, please follow the link in the description box below to my blog, which is also called The Erin Chronicle. There you will be able to follow along and see where I got these sources. Now, back to a little bit more about surrealism. Breton was also very influenced by Freud, by Sigmund Freud, in his book called The Interpretations of Dreams. And also, it stemmed from a disagreement of the Enlightenment, which was from the 17th and 18th century. The movement was also inspired by going against the grain of the aesthetic of the Renaissance. Very straightforward. How you see life is how you see it on the paintings. Now we kind of have an interpretation of what consciousness actually is. Breton was actually the gatekeeper of the movement by allowing certain artists into the movement that agreed with the philosophy, and then if you began to step away from the ideas in the philosophy, you actually got kicked out. In an article by Wide Walls, it is stated that if Dadaism was overtly political, surrealism focused on more positive philosophy, giving power to the unconscious mind and dreams, rather than reality as the mainstream art channels proposed it. Now, sometimes this art, with surrealism, was created by automatic drawing or writing to unblock the unconscious or dreams or psychological tension of the artist. Because of this philosophy, the movement spread internationally, and it can be seen through photography, artists, writers, and filmmakers who sought alternative to the conventional artistic and moral values. There are two types of surrealism: abstract, which is not based on reality, just the conscience, and representational, which is a hyper-realistic images were invoked like a dream-like state. The two also had color in their paintings that were heavily saturated. Another interesting area that was affected by surrealism is photography, which is actually some of the areas that highly influenced Maria Grazia as she was doing this particular collection. You can see it through Dora Maar and Lisa Miller as a couple of examples of photographers inspired, specifically females, that were inspired by this particular movement. I thought it was interesting that they began using collage and fumage, which I was like, what is that? It is the use of smoke on canvas and or paper. Other ways that surrealism affected photography was through the use of uncanny images through darkroom techniques such as double exposure, combination printing, and montage and solarization, eventually leading to the creation of photographs which excluded the camera entirely. So that led me again to see how can photographs be made without a camera. This technique is called a photogram, which is achieved with exposing yourself in a dark room with an object or yourself over photograph paper, then exposing the paper through light. This shift with surrealism was seen post-World War II. Some argue that the movement ended with Breton in 1966 with his death. However, others say that we can actually still see it today. Some of the famous artists that you might know of today that were part of the surrealist movement would be Salvador Dali, Frida Kahlo, and one of the artists that you can really see the inspiration post this time would be Jackson Pollock, who happens to be one of my favorite artists. The effects of surrealism have affected philosophy, social theory, and political theory. It is important to note that surreal refers to something being strange or dreamlike, while the term surrealism actually refers to the philosophical theory and manifestation of the movement. The movement can still be seen today through pop art, abstract expressionism, and conceptualism. Even a century later, we are still benefiting from the release of the self-conscious, dreams and nightmares, paranoia, and the dark side of the mind, which you can really see and thank that Freudian inspiration. Whew, that was a lot with that. So with that, I don't know about you, but I think I'm going to need some tea. And with that, let's discuss the actual collection some more. Like I said, it is a 37-look collection. Now, as we get into it, you're going to see that the dresses are actually on the scale for a doll. They are doll-sized. Now, this choice to have them to be doll-sized is also inspired by history, specifically French history. How so? It was inspired by a movement called the Théâtre de la Mode. Now, this particular movement can be seen with the sizes, and we will get into that. So, why was Maria attracted to the Surrealist movement for this collection? This is her direct quote. Surrealist images manage to make visible what is invisible itself, invisible. I'm interested in the magic and mystery, which is also a way of exorcising uncertainty about the future. This is why you see lots of references in the color, the texture, and design details. You'll notice there are lots of natural references, romantic silhouettes, and ethereal fabrics and draping, which is a Maria signature. Now, specifically, she pulled from the works of Lee Miller and Dora Maar, as we have discussed before, and Jacqueline Lamba. I really liked the fact that she was able to pull from female artists of the time. Now, back to the interesting thing about the doll size and how it was inspired by the Théâtre de la Mode. This particular collection of dolls, as you see here, traveled around Europe and later went to the United States post-World War II. Now, this helped raise funds for the post-war Europe. It was put together by a group of Parisian designers. Specifically, it was the mastermind of Nina Ricci's son. He saw the need to help the couture houses that had been heavily devastated by the war. The Nazis sought to move the fashion capital from Paris to Berlin. Also, they were dealing with a shortage of materials, fabric, ribbon, thread, buttons, all of the things necessary to have couture. So they decided to get together and produce these small size collection. It had multiple scenes, and like I said, it would travel around Europe and it would help raise money for the war fund. They were meticulously designed. Even though they were on the miniature scale, they were given the same love that you would see in regular size clothes. The collection can still be seen on a permanent display at the Mary Hill Museum of Art in Washington, D.C. I apologize, Washington State. Maria stated that the decision to do these dresses on a smaller scale really brought a lot of love and happiness to the ateliers working on this particular collection. So, and as the chest, as we see that is going to be bringing those miniature-sized treasures to the mythical creatures, we'll say, in this particular film, is actually a small version of the shop in Paris. Now, as we be sure to wait to the end of the film because I will be discussing what my critiques of both the style and the social critique of this particular collection. Okay guys, let's get right into it. I will be playing this at 2 times speed, so if it looks a little quick, that is why. I will have the link to the original in the description, so please take a moment and actually watch the original and see what you think, and comment in the description below what your favorite design was. So already we're getting into this particular video. We can see that natural color fabric right here and this wonderful pleating. I also love the fact that they really highlighted the atelier in this particular video because couture really stems, the reason we can enjoy it is because of the atelier and their incredible talent and eye for detail. So let's get back into it. Braiding. Okay, so this particular style is after what's called the bar jacket, and it's their interpretation this season of this particular style that is really well known for Christian Dior. I love how the pleating really goes to the natural waist and then goes down and it comes up. It's very slimming, and I love the pleating. Again, so right here in this particular scene, we can see the whole workroom. And going from right to left, I love this ball gown that's on the little clothes rack. It's so cute. And then I'm loving these two that we can see in the foreground on this main table. The golden fabric is just beautiful. Okay, so we can already see them showing off the trunk, which is a miniature version of the house that I was telling you about. And now these bellhops are going to be bringing these beautiful clothes to the magical creatures. So this is really our first time seeing the garden of Nympha. Right here on the left, you see this brick wall. And remember we had discussed previously that this was actually built into a medieval town. And so if you see these small structures, that's what these are actually from. And the walls and everything. These poor bellhops having to go all through the town. So not only are we getting to see the magical creatures, but here's another great example of those ancient medieval walls right here. I love in this particular garden how they really allow the greenery to look like it's natural, like we're just happened upon this place, that it's not from human doing, it's just naturally always been there. Which one are they going to choose? There's so many pretty ones. Here's our second magical creature. So comment in the description box below, what creature would you be? I don't know. The mermaid situation seems rather nice, especially in the summertime when it's so hot. I would love to live in the water all the time. Okay, so now they're showing the second creature. This is a great shot that you can see really some of these details and these designs. I'm loving all of this braiding along with the soft feminine cuts of these dresses. It's a nice offshoot yin and yang of each other. It's great color for her. Now, in this particular scene, they are measuring her for her particular dress. Now, this is very interesting because if you were to buy a couture dress, you would have several fittings. I mean, granted, if you're spending the money that these gowns they're asking for, you would want it to fit as a glove. So I love how they're really showing you some of the processes of how these clothes go from the runway onto customers, because they're really tailored just for you. Feel sorry for the dude. His collection has not come out quite yet at this point. Knock, knock, excuse us, we're bringing gifts. Hello. Ah, isn't that dress beautiful? And now we can see them actually bringing these small into the full size. And oh my goodness, wouldn't you feel like such a princess, like a magical creature, magical woman as we are, wearing this to a party on the red carpet one day. One day. Great shot of the workroom too. I do like that this black cape jacket with amazing shoulders is really the one that we're seeing up close. Inside of me, though, I do get sad because they're getting it wet. I know that it's their decision. Oh my goodness, it just hurts. Oh, doesn't she look like a queen with her red hair? The color choices are phenomenal. Again, another great shot that we can see these medieval walls right here. It just seems organic. This is a beautiful garden. It's on my bucket list of places to go to. Beautiful. This white on, I guess she would be a statue, is just, it goes with her skin tone. I know it's makeup, but her skin tone in this particular photo. But the way that this roping cuts her and really accentuates the curves of the torso, you can really see these details beautifully in this particular shot. Okay, and in the credits, they go into detail of which particular creature, mythical being, is wearing which style. I thought it was beautiful. It is absolutely beautiful. It really makes the art come to life, and that's what these clothes are. They are art, wearable art. So I really hope that you enjoyed that. Now let's get into some of the critiques that I have of this particular film. Okay, so some of my critiques, I have them written down here. It would be their lack of diversity when it came to their models. Now, I know that they have started, since this filming, that they have started to become more thoughtful of this. They can be seen doing this in their male collections. But I would like to see this in their female models as well. You know, as a society, we're really becoming aware of systematic racism in every aspect of life. And we can definitely see this in the fashion world. So I would really like to see them bring the same awareness to the world of fashion through to some discussion and inclusion. Dior especially does have a history, a troubling history, of appropriating designs from other cultures. So I'm happy to see that they're trying to step away from this particular history. I am hopeful that Maria continues to be sensitive to some of these feminist issues, but feminism also includes being inclusive and having a discussion about race, gender, and sexuality as well. You can see this in her previous collections where she really started dealing with some of the issues that women face in areas of consent, equality in their previous collections, and I'll link that collection in the description box below. So I did love how feminine, poetic, and ethereal this collection was, and I really look forward to seeing them deal with these social issues in the future. Always remember that you can love something and appreciate it, but still be critical of it. So those are some of my thoughts on the collection. I really hope that you enjoyed it. I really enjoyed getting into the inspiration behind the collection, looking at each of the designs. In this particular case, looking at the film. My next reaction will be to that Dior Cruise collection that I was discussing earlier in the film. So I look forward to taking a look at that. But before that video comes out, we will be discussing some of my favorite skincare options that I've been doing over the summer, some of my empties, so to speak, and what I will be buying again and what I might not buy again. We'll see. So let me know in the comment section what you thought. If you enjoyed this reaction, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And like I said, all the links to everything, including the article that I wrote, will be linked in my blog down below. It will also be the Erin Chronicle. Be sure to follow me on social media. I look forward to seeing you there. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and thank you again.